2.2.
Sophie was heartbroken, but she is one of France's best-known avant-garde artists.
2.3. 1.
I made a real faux pas when I mentioned his ex-wife.
2.
When we were introduced, I had a sense of déjà vu, though I knew we'd never met before.
3.
We used to have a secret rendezvous every Thursday in the National Gallery.
4.
She's engaged to a well-known local entrepreneur.
5. 2.
I know it's a cliché
2.2.2.2.
site.
6.
On our anniversary, he always buys me a huge bouquet of flowers.
7.
I met Jane's fiancé last night. They're getting married next year.
8.
They knew their parents wouldn't want them to get married, so they did it anyway and presented them with their fait accompli.
2.8.
A first date is loaded with expectation. Will I like them, and will they like me? Is this person going to be the one, or will I want to run for the door before the starter? Will we have anything to talk about, and if not, how will we get through the evening? Here's relationships expert Jenny with some suggestions on how to make sure that your first date is the best it can be, even if it turns out to be your only date.
Hello there. My first tip is choose the venue carefully, that is, the place where you're going to meet. Try to avoid very noisy places where you can't hear each other, or places where you can't talk, like cinemas. So a good place to meet might be a quiet bar for an after-work drink, for example, or lunch in a little local place you know. The advantage of keeping the first date short and sweet, meeting for a drink or for lunch rather than dinner, is that if you don't like each other, you don't have to make it through a 7-course meal together. And, of course, if you do like each other, you can either extend the date or plan a longer one for next time. Tip number 2 is make an effort with your appearance. Obviously, you don't want to make so much of an effort that your date wouldn't recognise you if they saw you in the street the next day, but getting your hair done, say, or wearing something you know you look good in, those kinds of things show that you care and that you want to make a good impression. I mean, if you turn up with unwashed hair, wearing yesterday's clothes, you aren't likely to win anyone over. The third tip, and it's an important one, is be kind, even if you think the date is going nowhere. It doesn't cost anything, and it'll make a big difference to how much the other person enjoys themselves. Of course, being kind also means not lying or giving your date false hope. Don't tell someone that you'll phone and that you can't wait to see them again if you have absolutely no intention of following through. Tip number 4, which is sort of related to number 3, is don't forget your manners. Make sure you turn up on time, and if you're going to be late for whatever reason, let your date know. Try not to yawn, even if you're getting a bit tired. Turn off your phone, and if the other person is footing the bill, do remember to say thank you. And one last thing while we're on the subject of manners, you can tell a lot about a person by how they treat waiters and waitresses. So don't just be polite to your date, be polite to the other people too. Number 5 is don't pretend to be anything you're not. It can be very tempting to exaggerate or to dress up the truth or just to plain lie to try to get your date interested. Of course, you may get away with it if you don't see the person again after the first date, but if the relationship does last any longer, you may find yourself in a tricky situation further down the line. So, for example, if you're separated, don't say that you're divorced. If you hate football, don't say that you can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday afternoon than cheering on Manchester City. And if you work part-time in a call centre, don't say you're something big in communications. Finally, and this is my last tip, don't make an instant judgment. Many of us make up our minds whether we like someone in the first few seconds or minutes of meeting them. But you know, first impressions can be misleading. So try not to rule someone out straight away. It's much better to spend a bit of time getting to know them, and if you're not sure about someone, it may take 2 or 3 dates before you can really decide. If you make a snap decision, you may risk missing out on the love of your life.
Jenny, thank you very much for the advice. And now we turn to the next section.
2.9. 1.
The advantage of keeping the first date short and sweet is that if you don't like each other, you don't have to make it through a 7-course meal together.
2.
If you turn up with unwashed hair, wearing yesterday's clothes, you aren't likely to win anyone over.
3.
Don't tell someone that you'll phone and that you can't wait to see them again if you have absolutely no intention of following through.
4.
Turn off your phone, and if the other person is footing the bill, do remember to say thank you.
5.
It can be very tempting to exaggerate or to dress up the truth or just to plain lie.
6.
Many of us make up our minds whether we like someone in the first few seconds or minutes of meeting them.
7.
Try not to rule someone out straight away.
8.
If you make a snap decision, you may risk missing out on the love of your life.